Minnesota beats Penn State in this one, 83-74. I thought Penn State was going to win this game. Penn State was at home, but Minnesota fought and they had some good contributions. Cam Christie had a good game in this one, and he was able to help the Golden Gophers get this win here. I think the Golden Gophers are having a nice season. I don't really think there's an avenue for them to get to the tournament. I mean, obviously, if they like win out or something, that could happen, but just not enough hard games. Penn State is still kind of finding themselves. They have their good games, they have their bad games. They lost to Ohio State, so after we just talked about Ohio State, that kind of leads you to where they are there. But Frank, did you have any thoughts on this game, or just thoughts about these two teams overall?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just the two teams overall. I mean, the future for Penn State looks really good. I mean, Clary's playing out of his mind. He's still young. He's still got a few more years left, and that's scary for the rest of the Big Ten. And we're in this era right now. I don't know if it's the COVID year, finally, popping up. I don't know if it's the transfer portal, but it seems like we're in this era where freshmen are making the most minimal impact that I can ever remember. And you can look across the Big Ten. You can think about some teams that were supposed to have some huge freshmen that were supposed to come in and be big impact players. Indiana comes to mind. Michigan State comes to mind. Even Purdue, honestly. And we really haven't seen them materialize. But Cam Christie has become one of the guys you have to stop for Minnesota. And I respect that. I respect that in this era where freshmen aren't really having as big of an impact as what we've seen in the past. I mean, him and Dawson Garcia took over the second half of this game. And I understand that Mike Mitchell was involved in some scoring too, but Cam Christie's ability to spread out and stretch that defense, he did only go 1 for 5 from 3, but finished, with 19. He hit clutch free throws at the end of the game to ice it. He also scares me as just another young guard in this conference. And, we've seen what his brother did and is currently doing, in the NBA. So I'm really, really excited for the future of this Minnesota team, as well as this Penn State team. Feels like Dawson Garcia has been in college for 10 years. I'm not really sure how he still has a couple of years of eligibility left, but the big story of this game was obviously Penn State blowing the 16-point lead. I think it was a 15-0 run that spanned the end of the first half and in the beginning of the second half, and then just Minnesota clawed right back in and never looked back. Yeah, that's really the main thoughts I had on this game. Really entertaining game. I thought Penn State would get another win. I'm always cheering for the underdogs in these type of games, but this is a really good Minnesota team, and I think another tournament team we have here in the conference.
I do need to point out one stat line, and I'm not trying to disparage this player, but he did destroy Ohio State, so I wish he played like this against Ohio State. Leo O'Boyle, you would know him if you've watched this Penn State team, who he is. In 16 minutes, 0 points, 1 shot. It was a 3-pointer. He did not make it. 1 offensive rebound, 1 defensive rebound, and he fouled out.
Very petty, JR.
He iced that game against Ohio State too. Last time I was on, we talked about that, and the O'Boyle rules, I think, was the joke that was made. But yeah, the other gentleman who was on is like, who is Leo O'Boyle? I've never even heard of him before. But yeah, he did not have a great game for sure. He's been like a sine wave this season. He's been up and down.
He's like their 5-man when they go small ball, which no, I think Leo Boyle is fun to watch. I have nothing against him. It was just a crazy stat line that I saw and I wanted to reference because not too many times do you see something like that happen. Sonny, what were your thoughts on either the game or just the two teams individually?
I guess my overall thought is I hope Ben Johnson really gets a chance to really build a roster of his players. I really think he's one of the top up and coming coaches in the conference. You can tell he's a younger guy. He'll kind of throw something that's not traditional out on the court because he knows he doesn't have the players to compete with the other team night in and night out. So they're a team that I'd like to pay attention to just because I like Ben. I think he's a good coach, and if he can get his guys in, I think he'll be moving on to a better job at some point.
Oh, and the hard part with Ben Johnson in Minnesota is they're not like a transfer destination, right? Wisconsin brought back a lot of this good talent. So a guy like AJ Storr going there made sense. There's a number of other guys that, they can get somebody because it makes more sense. What's Russ saying here? I saw Russ comment and then Frank laugh. So Ben Johnson to Ohio State from first.
You know,
it was his previous comment that made me laugh.
Oh, his previous Indiana thought Mbaku was a Mexican pizza, but he's a bit more like cheesy roll. And I see what you're doing with the legal situation there at Taco Bell. Oh, Russ. Yeah, no, but I think that Minnesota, Elijah Hawkins fouling out in this game, that's hard for them, but the guy still had 5 assists in this one. I don't think Elijah Hawkins gets talked about enough for how well of a distributor he is and just how well the team is playing around him on that end to help him be who he is. I mean, the guy leads the nation, at least last time I checked, led the nation in assists per game, which is outstanding. That number one, it's from a Big Ten player, and number two, it's from Minnesota. So just really, really cool to see him doing that. But you guys are both right. These are two teams that are just kind of on the rise, and we'll see where they go from here. But I think both of these teams have found their coach, at least for the next few years, and going from there. So any other thoughts on these guys before we move on?
He does lead the country still, 7.7 assists per game. I didn't realize that. That's really impressive.
Yeah. And Braden Smith I think there's 5 players that average more than 7 assists per game, and him and Braden Smith are the only 2 in the Big Ten. I think that's what I saw. If Braden Smith still does, he had 2 assists last game, but I think he should still be.
For no reason in particular, it would have been great if he, had a few more assists today for just because. Had nothing to do with, me or any, financial gain I had to standing, it would have been great if he had a few more assists today. He only had 2.
His prop was 6.5, wasn't it?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had hit 5 in a row. So yeah.
I thought about betting on that one. I ultimately decided, no, I don't think so. So
Lance Jones took them all. Lance Jones got all the assists today.
He did. Thanks for listening to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.